Welcome, everyone, to the Your Little Castle Show. We get experts from around the world. Tell everybody where is it Montgomery, Missouri?
Montgomery City.
Where is Montgomery located?
It,
Pacifically, I jokingly say.
it's smack dab right between Columbia and St. Louis, right off I-70.
Okay, so I know I've seen that sign. We have property in Fayette, Missouri, but you say Missouri, I think, out there. Is that right? And I say it both ways because I'm Nathan. Is that true?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Redneck.
Most people think of Montgomery City, Carter, when they go to Herman, Missouri.
Yeah. Okay. Herman, been there. The wine capital of the Midwest. They say,
There we
right?
go.
And I got left there one time with a friend. Had to call somebody, say, "Hey, babe, will you come pick me up?" And she did. But my buddy, I was trying to hook him up with. It was his chance to meet a girl, and it didn't work out. But fun time out there, and lots of great, beautiful scenery and winery and God's green earth out there. Right? This is where to live.
Yes, sir.
Not too far away from the city. How far are you from St. Louis?
Probably about an hour from downtown.
Okay, that's not far at all. Yeah, you can go to Cardinal. How many Cardinal games you guys been to?
I don't know. We probably average 2 or 3 a year.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, make sure you say hi to me there. I'll be. You probably Nathan. You saw me before. You recognize the Cardinal Cowboy hat at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to see no kiss cams on me when I go out there.
I get on the kiss cam every once in a while. They like by now. I've been on camera so many times. They kind of like, oh, there's Cowboy again. Turn over there. But I had a friend of mine were sitting next to me, so I filmed them getting on the kiss cam. Nathan, if I can hook that up, I will. But no promises. But yeah, maybe we'll see you guys at a Cardinal game. Well, Windsor Valley Roofing. How long you guys been in business now? Nathan, you started this company. Is that correct?
I did start back in 05.
Okay.
And so we lived so far out here, there was very little industry. And at that time, a lot of the industry we did have was falling away. And I had a young family at the time, and I needed to produce enough money to feed everybody. And I didn't want to be a roofer when I first started off. I was going to be a carpenter. I had been in a bigger outfit. And I come home one day after the phone had been ringing after a storm and everybody was calling for roofing. And I told my wife I didn't want to be a roofer. And she said, well, you'll either be a roofer or we're going to starve. And so I'm still here today.
Well, you got to pay the bills. You got to figure out what the world needs. That's why I've got into this whole TV, internet, video world, and the interwebs have really caught on here. You guys are catching up with this. Caleb, you're joining in here. Tell us what you're doing and how your relationship here, if you would. I'll let you say it.
Yeah. So when Dad started the business, I was just a little guy, and from as much as I could walk, he probably had me cleaning up trash and stuff. And I'll tell you, Carter, when I graduated high school, the last thing I wanted to do was become a roofer, and I told myself I'd never be back here. Well, I went off, I got a degree, I started working to do some corporate sales, and 3 or 4 years ago now, I got talked into my dad. He actually grew something with this business, and I'm trying to help him get to that next level, me and my younger brother, Jacob.
Well, I'll tell you a side note that you guys are on the ball. We start chatting with you. We do offer little free, quick internet-based web because our show is just packed all the time, and we don't go too far out because too much far ahead. But you guys get it, man. This social media thing is catching on. You either do this or else you wish you had, right?
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, we really got a lot of traction on it, but we got a pretty good fire going on with our Windsor Valley Roofing, and we're hoping that you can put some gas on it for us.
Yeah, well, I looked you guys up. You guys do well. You got a lot of followers out there for where you're at and everything that's going on. And plus, you do great work. And so we'll show off a little bit of that too. I like to share the reviews as well. We'll get into that in just a second. But let me get a little more background from you guys because people want to know
Sure.
who they're dealing with before they're going to. Because and first off, before we get too far into this storm that just came through was intense. I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm in Florida because we're at spring training. Cardinal Cowboy goes down there. Got lots of sponsors that want me there. End up on TV a bunch of times. They're joking about me. Thanks, Ron, for the call out. Mr. Darling said some stuff. Keith Hernandez. But that's where we talk about this social media thing. Like you either do it or you're going to get left behind. But I called my mom. I said, "Hey, mom, the storm's coming through. Are you safe?" She's like, "Yeah, man, I'm downstairs." I said, "Do you have your cell phone?" She's like, "Oh, I left it upstairs." I'm like, "Well, go grab the cell phone because that thing might be the only thing that works when the storm comes through." But a storm came through here recently. How bad was everybody hit out there in your part of the world? I guess you service all of St. Louis. You can go all over the state. Tell me where you service.
Yeah, definitely. I'll take this one, Dad. Yeah, so here in central Missouri, we had some really crazy winds. Parts of mid-Missouri had some like pea-sized hail, but nothing crazy. But my brother Jacob, his in-laws live in Arnold, Missouri, and he spent the whole weekend. He was tarping up roofs. Roof decks were actually completely taken off. So we got 5 or 6 claims just on Saturday alone, just around there, that Arnold, Missouri here. But the original question, here in central Missouri, we've had a lot worse. Some shingles, random shingles ripped off here, but nothing super crazy. Nothing like you guys got up in St. Louis.
Yeah, well, and the point is, you guys are still kind of a St. Louis-based company, an hour out.
Yeah.
Like that's the metro, extended metro area, and so most of the time, do you get? I mean, you go to Illinois a little bit. You go southern.
We don't go to Illinois. I'd say we go anywhere from Columbia to the Lake of the Ozarks, all over the St. Louis area. And then our bread and butter is all the small communities right here in central Missouri, like Montgomery City.
Yeah, Kingdom City, not too far from you. Then Columbia.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Columbia,
I'm
Herman.
thinking Webb City. I go Highway 70 there all the time. Go to see my Chiefs friends, my Kansas City friends, my Royals friends, and then we got that house I told you it's in Fayette, Missouri. You go to Fayette and then Moberly and.
We don't go too much far on that side of Columbia, just because there's so much here. But yeah, Columbia, Jeff City, Fulton, Mexico, Warrenton. Those are going to be a little bit closer to our home base.
Okay.
But we're insured and we can go all over the state of Missouri, but mostly the central to eastern side.
Well, that's good for people to know, because with this video will air on ABC if we decide. We'll talk to you about that after the show. Say, this is pretty good. Let's put you on ABC. We'll talk about that. But if not, we got the web version of it. But take this thing. I really want you to do well with it, because people just don't understand the importance of dealing with. And I'll jump ahead of my questions here a little bit, because I know this is an issue. You get your storm chasers, right? We're all wary. Some of us aren't. We don't know about storm chaser. What's a storm chaser? Who wants to take that one?
I can take that one. A storm chaser is going to be somebody that comes in. They watch the radar. They watch the national weather. They watch the storms, and whenever they occur, they show up, no matter where they are. They'll show up in a dually pickup with a dump trailer, and they'll just want to come in and do it. But we've had to come behind countless storm chasers, because from the ground, people don't get to see much, and they don't know what's going to happen until it rains again, and then that guy's already gone. So
back to we won't name another state, but he may be gone far away. He's not coming back to fix his work, and the work also is warranted too. We talked a little bit about that in our pregame prep. Caleb or Nathan, tell me, how important is it I know people, there's always I'm a do-it-yourselfer sometimes, right? I built my barn door to shut off my studio up here in our studio to keep the airflow. And it looks pretty good. Some people were kind of impressed. I probably could have got that done by a professional. It would have saved me a lot of time. But you don't want to do that on a roof or a deck or your windows or your siding, because now you're impugning the integrity of your house, which might be the most valuable asset that anybody has. And then when they come back and say, oh, by the way, it's not covered, the warranty is voided because it wasn't done by a certified professional, now you got some problems.
Yes. And so many times, a lot of DIYers, they want to try to save some money and do it themselves. Well, where they really get in trouble is, on their flashings and stuff. And the roofing material is so expensive because you have to have so much to cover the entire house. They often don't realize that they're making a simple mistake that's going to have a drastic outcome. And they don't know until it's already done. They've already nailed all the shingles down. They've already done all their flashing work, and now it's done. There's no turning back from a lot of these mistakes. They just need to hire somebody that is qualified to put it on in the first place.
Yeah, that gets into it. Caleb, tell me then, how often do you deal with this? You're running the office there a lot of times, from what I understand. And
yes, sir.
Somebody calls you and they go, hey, man, I had XYZ no-name roofing company come through. I can't find them now. Can you help? What's the situation? How do you deal with that?
That is a very regular conversation that we have. And I would just say, there's a lot of good roofing contractors out there. Just make sure you can find these guys, because even a good roofer, someone installs roofer, not going to see a lot of those issues right away. It's like my dad said, when the rain comes, when the snow comes, that's when you're going to find 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line. Where is that roofer there? So you're going to want to be able to find these people. I'm going to get that. kind of piggybacking on the DIY thing, you're going to want to have solid warranties with these. So, I would pick a big name brand company. There's a lot of good ones. We prefer Owens Corning, but Certainty, Tamco, there's many other ones. But if you know nothing about it and you're just trying to save a little bit of money, put your own roof on, 5 years down the line, let's say the manufacturer's shingle materials fail, you call them up, they don't know you, they don't have a history with you, and most likely that claim is going to be denied. If you're working with a contractor that's dealing with these manufacturers on a reputable basis, you're going to be covered in some of those things that you're not going to be able to foresee years down the line.
That is a big problem and something that people should consider that may often be overlooked. And because they're like, hey, I saved $3,000 or so they think, maybe, probably.
So they think.
Right? And then they got, but that's not even in the big scheme, because you don't want this thing to last 5 years. Nobody does. I guess there might be somebody who says, hey, man, I'm selling this thing and I don't care. Well, then your reputation's at stake because you got rid of a house that you got it fixed and did whatever they needed to sell it. But now they're going to come back at you. They could go retro sue these people too, I think. Is that the case? But anyway, just not a good position to be in.
I would say most roofing contractors, they last less than 2 years. So, make sure you're working with someone that's been around for a while. Check their reviews, things like BBB, things like that. There's a lot of good roofing contractors out there, but like I said, you want to be able to find these guys years down the line.
Well, that's a good point there. Well, let's talk about that real quickly. As I put up here on the wall behind me, I've got the TV wall behind me, got your guys' website out there. You got a new, updated, refreshed website. It'll be more fantabulous. This one looks pretty good. So I like to work there. But it's a great place to get information. If you would, take this interview. I'm going to let you have this interview. Put it on our social media, whatever, but share it from there. Put it on your website because you'll be able to, hopefully, this helps people understand what you're about. And that's important. When somebody's going to spend $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 on a roof, generally they want to know who they're working with, right? And video.
Yes, sir.
Video is the way to get to know somebody first, face to face. But if you can't do that, that's impossible to do for everybody. Do a nice little video of yourself. Get yourself. We set up a studio specifically for that, and we got guests coming all the time. So you took all the pain and agony of me buying equipment and figuring this thing out. Yes, thank you for coming and joining us here. So on the wall then behind me, I'm going to share the screen now. 4.8, 26 reviews. How do you think you get an average of 4.8? And I think we kind of answered some of that, but who wants to talk to me about 4.8? You must be doing things well. You get you see some guys with a 3 or whatever, there's a problem there.
You really need to remember that we've been in business for 20 years and have that rating.
Right.
And those are only the last few years that I've been able to capture some of these things. If Dad knew how to work a computer, he would have a lot more. But just stand behind your word. Do we make mistakes? Sure, but it's going back and fixing those things and doing right by your customers at the end of the day, even if it doesn't always make the best business sense. Making sure that the people that put their trust in you, you're going to stand by them and take care of them at the end of the day.
Well, absolutely, because it's integrity, quality. Those are the things we're all looking for. And those are people we want to exemplify and put on my little show here because we're just trying to help the world. We've got sponsors. Shout out to Carroll House and Brooke Dubman and his sister Amy for backing us. But hey, if you need furniture, check them out, Carroll House Furniture, carrollhouse.com. But you got to have a nice house to put your furniture in. You want to have an asset. Nathan, when you started this, did you realize what you were doing for your family here? I guess you did because your wife said, hey, we got to eat. And now you built a little empire here, and your children are joining in a little bit. Is that true?
Yes. I'm pretty proud of my children, and I'm pretty proud of what I've accomplished. In the beginning, it was just trying to fill a need. There wasn't a whole lot of jobs out at that time. I seen a need in the community. I really didn't want to be a roofer, but it turned out quite well for me. And so yeah, I'm happy with what we've accomplished.
Hey, Caleb, you're working with a couple of your other siblings. Do you want to mention that a little bit? Because we happen to grab you for the camera today, but what's it like? Family business?
Yeah. So, there's definitely pros and cons of working with your family, but I miss these guys. When I was living up in Kansas City, I didn't get to see them nearly as much. And now I get to see them every day. My mom's working the phones. She works the front desk most of the time. My brother is on every single job that we do. We got great crews, but my brother oversees that. He overhauls. And then my sister, she takes care of most of our marketing for us. Social media, advertisement, things like that. And my younger sister, she's the only one of us that's not in the business. But if you need a good haircut, stop by Ultimate Hair and Spa in Warrenton.
Well, that's good to hear. I was the one who stepped away from the family tradition. All my family members are educators. But I effectively my mom said, Carter, you're kind of doing the same thing we are. You're teaching people how to survive in this modern day world with this whole interwebs thing. They made me go to computer classes back in grade school during the summer, just in case the baseball career didn't work out. And the rest is history. But I love getting to talk to business owners like yourselves. Tell me then, if there's one thing you would say that really sets you guys apart from the rest. Nathan, maybe a question for you, and then Caleb can finish up on that. But you started this thing. You've been running it now. Tell everybody, how many years ago? Was that in 2005, you said?
05, at 20 years. And we're here primarily because once I seen that there was a need, I was able to take care of us with this. And I kind of lost the question here.
Well,
I got it.
Yeah, just
sure. There's a few things that really make us stand out. Here locally, definitely, but even around the state. One, we're going to have a retail location. Not many roofers have that. If you want to come in and touch physical samples, I'll make a 3D model for you if you want to see what that siding would look like on your house, things like that. Something that not many at all really do is we deliver our own products. So we have all of our suppliers deliver them to our warehouse here in Montgomery City, and then we deliver them ourselves to make sure that we're controlling that process through and through. Most of the guys up around the St. Louis area, they're going to call ABC, they're going to call Arrowhead, and they're just going to hope that those guys are going to deliver it right. At Windsor Valley Roofing, we're going to take care of the entire process of that. And then the last thing I would say is that we have dedicated project managers on all those. So I would say most reputable businesses do that, but you really got to watch out for these paper roofers. They go out there, they knock on doors, they sign contracts, and they never look at that roof after the fact. They might say they do, but if that roofer, that salesman's not getting up on the roof, I'd be second guessing them.
Yeah, we got a drone footage. We can see it with the drone.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Because I have a drone,
exactly.
And unless you get that drone about 8 inches away, you can't see the granules or the hail damage that may happen there. And it looks decent. It looks like there's no damage from the ground. It may even look like no damage from 6 feet away, right? But until you crawl up there and look at it, is that true, Nathan? You got to get on your hands and knees, get your hands dirty, and see what's really going on.
Yep.
Why is that so important? Because ultimately, it's the integrity of the roof, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you really need to get somebody up there physically looking at it. You can put cameras on a lot of things, but it just don't show the true tale. You take a picture of a mountain, you can prove that to yourself pretty quick. But you get up on that roof and you get to looking around with your eyes. You can spot wind damage. You can spend the hail damage. A lot of guys use the drones, and I don't want to put nobody down that uses a drone.
It has its purpose.
Drones are making somebody money.
Yeah, and I'd say drones do a great job of giving that overview, so you can see how bad is it. You can see, okay, we need to look at this closer. All right, maybe. But hey, while you're there, why don't you jump up and look at it anyway? That's what I would argue. And the drone can, if you're looking to get a whole bunch of roofs and all one big swoop, sounds like you guys like to take this a little more personally and sit there with the consumer and say, hey, let's make a good decision here.
Definitely. And, whether we're just coming out for, a yearly inspection, which we do on all of our roofs, right before wintertime, we go out there. We're going to take pictures, of each slope. We're going to look at all the pipes, the flashings around there, and we're going to save that into your profile. We partner with Job Nimbus, our CRM. It's a great database for us. And then next year, if there's no issues, we're going to do another report, and you're going to see the aging as it goes in. So whether you're trying to sell this house down the line, or you're dying an insurance claim, you can be very specific of when that storm damage occurred, and just kind of the overall exactly how the roof is at that time. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people offer free inspections. They go around, look at it. With Windsor Valley Roofing, you're going to get a detailed 2-page report on each time we visit the property. And next time we go out there, you're going to get another one just like that to compare it with the past ones.
So yeah, you hit on a topic there that I know becomes very important, and that is dealing with the insurance companies.
Yes.
As I'm looking at your page here, and I've got the TV wall up behind me here, but there's your contact information. There's that phone number. Is that right? 573-999-5915?
Yeah, so that's actually going to reach my personal cell phone there. People are, more than willing to call or text me there. But I'm often in meetings, with homeowners and things. So if you want to guarantee an answer, call the 573-564-7032. That's going to go to our office. We're going to have someone there always between 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. And if you call after hours, we'll call you first thing the next business day.
As I finish up, a couple quick questions for you. I got a bunch of things we could ask, but I want to focus on a couple things. Number one, what's the easiest way for somebody to get started with you? Make sure we cover that. Phone call, text, email. What's the best way? All of those.
Phone call.
All of them, whatever they prefer. But set up appointment, us to come out and take a look at it. Often, if they're just trying to get some quick numbers, they're going to be paying out of pocket. We can do a lot of this stuff sitting right here in the office. So, but if it's an insurance, it's storm damage, it's very critical. Just set an appointment up with us. We'll come out and we'll certify that you have damage out there. But yeah, you can go right there to the website. You can fill something out there, or simply just call or shoot us a text.
Yeah, well, you make it easy, and that's important because if you're not making this easy, it's a pain, man. We're all busy people, busy creatures. We got to get things done. And having somebody who's not going to ask me a bunch of questions and say, "Hey, I need this, I need that. What do you do?" Oh, wait, we don't know. You guys know. From top to bottom, you're doing the technology side of the world. The technology has changed here in the last few years, especially with the social media stuff. But also having somebody who understands. That's why we want to have a long discussion with somebody. I don't need a 3-minute little, hey, if I'm going to learn about you, let me sit and learn from you. Give me a half-hour discussion. So take this video, if you will, and put on your social media, share it from our stuff, and put on your website if you want to, because it will really help. Hopefully, people understand that you guys are integral. You guys do know what you're doing, or else you wouldn't have made it this long. Is that right, Nathan?
That is correct. We try very hard to do the right thing every time. That was just something that the business model that I set up in the beginning. I never wanted to put cheap products on somebody's house. I never wanted to shortchange anything. Whenever I left somebody's house, I wanted to feel as comfortable with the job as they did. I don't want somebody calling me back in 5 years because I made a stupid mistake. So we've always tried to go the extra mile to make sure that we did everything exactly the way it's supposed to, because it is so easy. There's so many variables on every job. It's easy to make one simple mistake to make the whole job look terrible, or make, one small leak. You can do everything perfect, but if you make one mistake, then they're going to judge you on that. And most time people won't call you back. So to me, it's really important to do the very best you can every time that you're there, because you don't always get that chance to go back. Once the cat's out of the bag, or whatever you want to say. But we just always try to do it right the first time.
Well, that's why I like working with small business owners, because I'm dealing with the owner or the owner's son or the son who's going to be the owner, right? And then when I have a problem, I don't have to go through second level support to get to the third level to talk to the regional guy who might bring it up to the vice president, and ultimately the owner's going to make a decision, and they're going to go, "That project's 6 months old. What are you talking about? Did they get it fixed or not? Did we have to pay more? Good. Move on." And that's why I'm a big advocate for small businesses. That's the whole reason we started this show called Your Little Castle. Everybody has their own castle. It is their home. It is where they reside. It's where they raise their kids. It's where they build their family and their friends and their relationships. And so we appreciate you guys taking the time to sit with us here. One last question for you. What is the biggest mistake that people make? And we might have touched on it a little bit, but if you can summarize, when going through this process, where do they make big mistake cost them a lot of money?
I would say giving money up front. We pride ourselves, unless it's a very special material or something like that. We get a simple agreement signed. We take care of the work for us. You pay us at the end. A lot of these people will try to justify with you for their costs and things like that. They need money up front. Don't do that, and definitely do not give them 100% of money up front. That would be the number one mistake I see.
Wow, that's a great one. Yeah, I just I'll tell you a personal story just happened. put $6,000 down, then they disappeared. I think
Happens
they
all.
tracked them down and said, hey, this could be bad for you guys. And they came back around. Hey, man, yeah, we took that $6,000 and we've spent it on other things, but they came back around. I think they did save themselves. But man, that's a big risk.
That
And
is
these
a big risk.
guys, they could walk off with $6,000 and be like, thank you very much. We're going to Vegas,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you're out that
Go to
money.
the next state, change the name all over again.
All right. Thanks, guys, for taking the time here. Check these guys out.
Thank you,
When you're
Carter.
looking for some experts, that's who we want to have on our show. They come around from the country. We have guys fly into St. Louis to meet with us. We have guys zoom in from all over the country. We appreciate you guys. Not too far from St. Louis, about an hour. So if anybody needs services, middle of Missouri, east of Columbia, over to St. Louis, south to southeast Missouri, north to, I guess, Independent. Not quite Independence, but I'm thinking of what's Truman State up there.
Oh, Kirksville. Yeah,
Kirksville, right? You get
Yeah.
up in that area too. I gave a speech up
for
there not long
sure.
ago. Great little town. The people paid me to go speak at their event, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
we got a lot of family just south of Macon there.
Yeah, but there's a great organization up there. Does a lot for helping people who've had brain injuries like myself. If everybody's wondering what happened to me, what's wrong with me, I got hit by a drunk driver, was in a coma, but God allowed me to live a little longer on this planet, and I felt like I've got to do what I can to help everybody, including especially small business owners, as my parents were, and make a difference because you guys really do great work and help everybody get what they really need.
Well, thank you.
Thank
All
you
right,
for
guys. I'm going to hit the stop record here, and then I'll finish.
Hey Carter, before I want to tell you guys about the directory guarantee. So we're certified contractors by directory, and because of this, any of the homeowners that we work with are backed up to $20,000 for a lot of different issues, workmanship problems, material defects. Say my company, God forbid, goes bankrupt in 5 years, and all my warranties, would exist. Directory will still pay out for things like that. So it's a completely free service that we offer to all of our customers. All they have to do is go to directory.com, sign up for the free profile, and then we personally in-house will register the event at that time. And you are good to go there. So I'm going to send you a little link you can display up on the screen, show how people do that. But I just want to let people know that hopefully they trust us, but in today's world, you can't really trust anyone. So we are backed by the directory guarantee. So
Chatting with you guys on the other side. Hey,
Okay.
everybody, it's the Your Little Castle show. I'm going to switch my camera view out here to our wide angle because look at all the work that these guys get done. Check out their websites. And if you're looking for somebody who does a great job, these are the guys that can do it for you. Windsor Valley Roofing. All right, everybody, we'll be back. Giddy up.